So we'll continue where Ash is in this gym battle with Erika, where he would swiftly defeat Tangela with a wing attack. After that, Erika would send in her weeping bow, which would use a poison powder which would poison Pidgeot, but Pidgeot would retaliate with a whole bunch of aerial aces, which would do a lot of damage to weeping bow. And then Pidgeot would land the finishing blow with a wing attack. After that, Erika would send in her Gloom. Gloom would be a strong Pokemon. It would be able to hold its own quite well against Pidgeotto with its smell and stuff like that. But in the end, Pidgeotto would overwhelm it with a whole bunch of wing attacks and aerial aces, giving Ash the gym badge. The Grand Prix would go as usual, but with a few minor changes. So Ash would battle Koga, and he would send out his Pidgeotto, as Koga would send out his Venomoth. This would be a close aerial battle, but the faster and stronger and the more advantaged flying type being Pidgeotto would ultimately win, but it would have suffered some poison damage from Venomoth. After that, it would become a full-on aerial battle between flying types. Wing attacks and aerial aces traded all over the place. Quick attacks traded with poison fangs, both Pokemon almost down. And it came down to a clash between a wing attack and an aerial ace. Wing attack for Golbat and aerial ace for Pidgeotto. In the end, Pidgeotto won. Pidgeotto had gained so much experience, it began to glow. The crest on its head was grown size, elongate into a long flowy feather style, yeah. And it would grow in size as its feathers would expand. It would finish its evolution into Pidgeot, which would amaze Ash and Koga. After that, Koga would give Ash the badge stating that he's a remarkable trainer. And Ash would then, on his way to Cinnabar Island, he would encounter a Krabby on an island eating some of its findings, and Ash would go on to quickly throw a Pokeball and catch the Pokemon. After a whole bunch of riddle solving, Brawly doing everything, Ash would go and he would battle Blaine. He would use Krabby and Ninetales. He would use Krabby against Ninetales, as Ninetales would go up against Krabby. With a shot of luck, Krabby would use Crab Hammer and Bubble Beam to defeat the Fire type. This would cause it to evolve, giving it a whole bunch of experience. After that, it would go up against Rhydon. So far, it would have been good matches for Kingler. Kingler would use Crab Hammer to weaken Rhydon a lot, but Rhydon would charge him with a drill one, doing a lot of damage to the inexperienced Kingler. But Kingler, with another shot of luck, would hit with a Bubble Beam, knocking out Rhydon. But the moment Blaine sent in Magmar was too strong for any water type attacks. I would defeat Kingler within a short period of time. After that, Ash would send in his Charmeleon, knowing that Charmeleon was his best shot, since it would be able to take the intense heat. The battle would at first be a domination for Magmar, as it would land fire punches and mega punches very easily and fire blasts. But Charmeleon would still be able to hold its own with slashes and dynamic punches. Then, Magmar would punch Charmeleon into the lava. And Ash would be worried, thinking that his Pokemon had died and he calling for Charmeleon. Then, a blazing flash would come out of the volcano, and it would begin growing. I should say, wait, is it evolving? And then I should see two pairs of red eyes burning with rage inside. And then when the flames were finished, a Charizard emerged, showing Ash that his Charmeleon had ascended beyond and evolved. I should say, all right, Charizard. Yeah. Charizard would have learnt Wing Attack from its evolution, and Ash would command for a Wing Attack. Wing Attack would hit for a lot of damage on Magmar. Magmar would then retaliate with a powerful Fire Punch, which wouldn't do much damage to Charizard. Charizard would then retaliate with a powerful Dynamic Punch, which would confuse Magmar. And then Charizard would finish everything off with a powerful Flamethrower, which would send Magmar crashing into the volcano, knocking it out. After that dynamic battle of strong fire Pokemon, Blaine would give Ash his 7th badge and would say, wow, you're a rather strong trainer. Now it's almost time for you to enter the Pokemon League. I should say, yep, it's almost time. Ash would then make his way to Viridian City, where he would see Gary defeated. And Gary would say, that gym leader, he's just too strong, that Viridian City gym leader. His Pokemon, I saw some weird Pokemon, he's just too strong. I can't do anything to defeat him. Champion Ash, we'll see what you can do. If you can't defeat him, don't worry, because he's got some weird Pokemon I've never seen before. As Ash as Gary would quickly go home, and Ash and Bully would enter the gym. They would explore the gym as they would see a tall man standing in his quarters, sitting in a massive throne, and then they would turn to see Giovanni. I should say, so you are the 8th gym leader. Seem like a strong trainer, Giovanni would say. No, it's been a while since anyone has ever challenged me. That brat who just ran out of the gym, he challenged me but was easily defeated the moment I showed my trump card. Ever since then, I've never really battled. So now, it's time for me to battle you and see if you're worthy of the Viridian City badge. Most trainers pass by this gym because of a mysterious Pokemon that I have discovered, which has made me much stronger. I have to send out his Beedrill as Giovanni would send out his Kingler. Kingler would start off with a Crab Hammer and a Bubble Beam, doing decent damage to Beedrill. But Beedrill would poison it with a Poison Jab and would finish it off with a flurry of Pin Missiles. After that, Giovanni would send in his Golem. Beedrill would keep attacking Golem with Poison Jabs and Twin Needles and stuff like that to whittle it down. But eventually, Golem would hit Beedrill, knocking it out. After that, Ash would send in his Kingler, and Giovanni would say, oh, you have a Kingler of your own. Let's see how strong it is. Kingler would then use a Bubble Beam and a Crab Hammer, which would easily defeat Golem. After that, Giovanni would send in his Machamp. This would be a very even battle, but after a while, Machamp would overpower its opponent with a powerful submission. After that, Ash would send in his Primeape, and it would become an all-out brawl between two strong fighting types. The battle would go on for a long while, but they would knock each other out with Mega Punches. After that, Ash would send in his Charizard, as Giovanni would send in his Rhydon. This would be a very close fought battle. with Charizard using flame attacks everywhere despite its massive type disadvantage, which would really hurt Rhydon, and Rhydon responded with rock and ground attacks. But in the end, Charizard will connect with a powerful dynamic punch, which will confuse Rhydon, which will give Charizard a chance to finish it off with a powerful Fire Blast, giving Ash the win. After that, Giovanni would send in Cloyster, and Charizard had been weakened by the last battle, so Giovanni would just have to freeze Charizard and use a Surf, and it was over for Ash. After that, Ash would send in his Pidgeot. This would be a very close battle, with wing attacks and aerial aces and ice beams being traded everywhere. But in the end, Pidgeot will come in for an aerial ace, as Cloyster will come in for a clamp. Both Pokemon will collide, knocking each other out. But then Giovanni would say, the real battle has just begun, and now say goodbye to any hopes of earning this badge. As he would then send out Mewtwo, as Ash would send out Aggron, saying that his trusty old friend would be able to help him. Aggron would try landing Rock Slides and Metal Claws and Iron Tails, but they would easily be avoided by Mewtwo, as Mewtwo would have psychic powers. It would be able to easily dominate Aggron, with Aggron not being able to land a single hit. Aggron would be almost out, but then the two stones that Ash had received from Steven, the stone that Ash had received from Steven and the stone that he had given to Aggron had begun to glow mysteriously. He remembered what Professor Birch said about basically he needs to have Aggron hold on to one and he needs to hold on to the other, because a strange phenomenon called Mega Evolution or whatever would happen. Ash would then say, "Alright, Aggron, I believe in you. I know we can win this." And Ash would say, and then Giovanni would say, "In your dreams." But then the bond between Ash and Aggron would cause the stones to react even more vigorously, as then they would, Ash and Aggron, similar to Ash and Greninja, would be in a place all alone. Then they would begin to become one, as Aggron's eyes would glow, and then an explosion would happen, creating Mega Aggron. Giovanni would say, "Is that what I think it is? Is that Mega Evolution?" But then he would be cut short, with Ash commanding for an Iron Tail. With such speed, Aggron would easily be able to smash Mewtwo on the floor, which would shock Giovanni, as Mewtwo was supposed to be the strongest Pokemon ever. Mewtwo would use a Psychic, which would do decent damage, but Mega Aggron would respond with a powerful Metal Claw, doing a lot of damage. Mega Aggron would then respond with a Rock Slide. But then Mewtwo would send it back onto Aggron, but Aggron would jump on the rocks and use it as momentum for a powerful Metal Claw, doing a lot of damage, which would shock Giovanni. Would say, in his mind, could it be Mega Evolution? It's a powerful phenomenon that happens in Carlos. How can this kid have such insane power? Wow, I have threats. Alright, Mewtwo, use Psychic full force. As the ground would begin to shake, the entire building would begin shaking. It would use all of the rubble, all of the ceiling to hit Aggron. But Aggron would just jump in the air with only a few blocks hitting it, and would smash down with a powerful Iron Tail, doing a lot of devastating damage. Mewtwo would then use a Swift, but then Aggron would then use Iron Tail to deflect it back at Mewtwo. This would be very similar to the Pokemon Origins battle between Red and Charizard, Mega Charizard X versus Mewtwo. And then, as Mewtwo, as Aggron was defeating Mewtwo with a Fury of Metal Claws, similar to Pokemon Origins, Ash would remember Aggron battling against Trico, scratching it with Metal Claws, and then when they landed the final blow, boom! It would send Mewtwo flying, and all of its gear would explode, knocking out the Psychic type. I have to say, wait, I did it. And then both he and Aggron in unison, like they were bonded together, would jump and they would celebrate as Aggron would fall to the ground exhausted from the Mega Evolution. But then, after a few moments, Mewtwo would wake up from its fainted and would say, wait, what's happening? What's been happening? So it would be confused. And then it would regain its memory, and it would realize what was going on. It would say, Giovanni, you used me as your tool. How dare you? As it would send the man flying. And it would then, in a rage, fly out of what remains of the Viridian gym. After that, Giovanni, angry and humiliated, would say, take the badge, boy. As he would give Ash the badge. On his way home, on his way to Pallet Town, he would explain to Brawny what happened after he beat Steven and now he received his turn and blah blah blah, and about Mega Evolution. And then, when he got back, he would see Gary, who would ask him, Ash, have you collected all 8 badges? And Ash would show him his full set, and he would say, wait, you beat Giovanni? We need to battle right now. And then, that is where it will come to a close. Alright, I've had a lot of fun making this part, and I'll see you later.